Hi, I'm Mayor Taylor, and I'm here for another installment of Taylor Tries. Today we're in the Water and Sewer Department, and I'm here with David.
Yes.
And we are here to do what, David?
Today we are going to be testing the effluent leaving the water plant for iron.
Okay, so vacuum. That's like a new term. I'm learning new things already today. Okay, so I just
Yeah, you got to make sure it's all the way in the water.
all the way in there, and
Yep.
then I just push it, or
Yeah, kind of on the side here.
how do you do it? Oh, I get it.
Yep, and then it just
Oh.
sucks it up. Yep, just like that.
That's fascinating. Okay, and then I go like this.
Yep.
And then I set it down.
Set it down.
Okay, and
we
then
wait.
soon I set that down too.
Yeah, so then iron, there's a timer for 3 minutes. It has to react for 3 minutes.
Okay, and so we're testing for the level of iron in the water.
Level of iron in the water, yeah.
right.
And that's a secondary standard, which is just for odor, aesthetic.
Okay.
There's nothing's regulated by for it.
Okay.
It's just something we test daily.
Sure.
And if it comes back high, which I'm not anticipating it will,
Okay.
it'll come back as a 0.01
Okay.
milligrams per liter, which is parts per million.
All right.
We can raise lower chemicals based off these numbers.
Okay, so the test is ready to
Yeah,
go.
so you can put this, that's our 0.
Okay.
That's just a glass with
So I
distilled
just
water. Put
stick
that
it
in there,
there,
then shut that,
and then slide the little
and then
door.
hit 0.
Okay. And so this is like our baseline.
That's the
right?
baseline, yeah.
Okay.
That's a 0.
All right.
Distilled water, and you can put that in there. And then same thing, and then just hit read. Yep. And it's just okay.
Okay. You know, science is amazing,
Science
right?
is amazing. So yeah, that's 0.00 milligrams per liter.
Oh, it read
parts
it
per
that
million.
fast. All
That
right.
fast.
Okay.
So yeah, that's what
So
it is.
so we're good. We've got we'll test this one just to be safe.
Yes.
And okay. And then so yeah. Oh, 0.01,
0.01.
which is fine, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Perfect.
sometimes it can vary a little bit, but
Sure. All right. Well, then that's fascinating. So then that means that everything is good to go. We are safe. So yeah. So what are some of the other components of the water that you test? You know, what are
So every day, I or we as a department have to test fluoride. We have 12 different sites. We go pick up a sample. Today I have to actually go to the golf course booster, so I'll take this with.
okay?
We'll do the same thing. This is our 0 for the week. We'll test it, break it in just like that. That's a 1-minute reaction timer.
Okay.
That has to be between 0.5, 0.9 parts per million. And that's actually a chemical that we add
Sure.
just for your drinking, just for your teeth.
Okay.
It has to be between 0.5, 0.9, optimum of 0.7 parts per million.
Sure.
We test free chlorine, total chlorine. We'll be doing that at the golf course booster too with bacteria samples. And then chlorine just gets added pre and post treatment just to kill any bacteria that's in
Okay.
the
That
water.
was my question was what does that do? Okay.
Yeah.
So that
And
makes sense.
usually if people, they always say it's a false negative, but if they smell chlorine, it's usually low in
Okay.
drinking water, not like a pool or anything.
Oh
but-
yeah. Sure.
And then iron, we just did that. Fluoride. And then, yeah, we do test every week. We also test like ammonia.
Okay.
That's in the refrigerator out of our ground water, which is out of the wells.
Sure.
And we test that, leaving the plant too. Nitrates, nitrites. These are really important samples we do. This is a MCL, which is a maximum contaminant level of 1,
Okay.
1.0, and if that is that's a big one because that can make people sick.
Okay.
Nitrates, that's another thing we test. That's an MCL of 10. Same deal. I mean, that's another thing with like, there's a lot of studies that say like cancer causing.
Okay. And that's something that is more naturally occurring in the groundwater.
Yeah, so that comes out of our groundwater, but we're all well under the threshold.
Okay. Well, that is good to know. But it's good that we are continually monitoring. So how often do you monitor those two?
We do those weekly.
Okay.
ammonia weekly.
Sure.
And I track it all in there.
Okay.
We don't send that to the state, but the MDH sends a guy of someone comes out, I think it's twice or 3 times a year, with a big cooler of samples that they test.
Sure.
Regulated and unregulated contaminants. And then they tested all those and they post it on, I think it's like consumer confidence reports.
Sure, that makes sense because, yep, a regular testing, making sure that people have access to that information so they can see how safe their local drinking water is.
We're at the golf course booster station. It feeds Bavaria Tower, city of Chaska. Today we're going to be doing a bacteria test. Probably one of the most important tests we do. We have to do 30 of them a month.
Okay.
We send 10 of these in 3 times a month to Twin City Water Clinic in Hopkins, and they test it and see if there's any bacteria in the water, anything that will make people sick. So yeah, let's get started.
All right, so Dave has kind of gone through and told me what my steps are, and then he's gonna help guide me through it as I do it. But the first step is to turn on the water.
Perfect.
Okay, I don't know how. Perfect.
Perfect.
Okay, and then this is a temperature gun.
Yes.
So then I aim this infrared light at the ground.
To the ground, yep.
And then look at the temperature, and it's saying it's about 46.
46.
And you said that it's important that at some of the places you're at, that you want to make sure that if it's warmer than that, that you get it down to the temperature so for accurate.
Yes. So if you're in like a gas station or a school, there's a lot of indoor plumbing. You know, this is obviously water main. So it's right out of the water main, so it's 46, but inside of a gas station it could be 60, 65. So you could have this on. I try to turn all the sinks on that I can find. And then I keep testing it until it hits 46, 50 degrees.
Yep.
And then I'm happy that it's water main. It's fresh water. It hasn't been water that's been sitting in their indoor plumbing because we don't want to test that.
Sure.
So once we're happy with that, we take the
This is a torch. Get to play with a torch.
So then we shut the water off.
Oh yeah. Sorry. See, I knew I was going to forget a step already. No, you're okay. Okay, so the water is now off, and then I just come down and I kind of go around the edges.
Yep.
And how long do you usually do this step for?
I would do that step probably for about 20 to 30 seconds.
Okay.
And just like Taylor's doing, I mean, you're getting all the sides, you're getting right underneath it. And this is just like the name of the test says, it's a bacteria test. And any bacteria that maybe got on there, if someone had to take a sample and their hand touched it, anything touched it, we don't want that to influence our test. If something does influence our test, we want it to be like, you know, the obvious water in the main. Because, you know, we don't want a positive test, but we want to know if the water is safe to drink, and that's the whole point of the test.
Sure.
So
That felt pretty good, or do you want me to?
That was perfect.
Perfect? Okay.
Perfect.
Awesome. Okay, so then I'll give that back.
Done with
And then
that.
the next step is to turn the water back on.
Yep. So a little trick here is that you get it going like you did.
Kind of like.
Oh, you can keep going.
Like
Yep. Just
that?
like that. And then
Okay.
if you go like that, then it's easier to
Sure,
handle
that
way.
makes sense. And so then I take this and fill this up about halfway.
About halfway, yep.
All right.
And then this is a free chlorine vacuole.
Okay.
And just like the name says, free chlorine, it's testing the chlorine that's available in the water to attack any viruses, bacteria, any harmful stuff that it comes into contact with.
And I'm going to. My hands are
You're good. So it turned pink, so that means there's obviously available chlorine, which is good. And this is total chlorine, and that total chlorine is kind of just what it sounds like. So sometimes when that happens.
Okay.
Sometimes it doesn't break.
So sometimes when it doesn't break well, there's a backup step to that.
Yes.
Awesome.
So then that's a 3-minute timer. So put it on your phone, 3 minutes. And this is the money maker.
Yes, and so now I will make sure that I'm not touching the under part, and you just kind of go under and fill that up, and then put that to send, and then, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, perfect, Taylor. Then I would just, sample ID, put that on there, today's date, time, taken by DA, David Abraham, TH, Taylor Hubbard, client Chaska, and send this to, like I said, Twin City Water Clinic in Hopkins, and they'll let us know when we pass.
All right.
Okay, 7 seconds.
All right.
So, yeah, you can just hit 0 here.
Okay.
So that'll 0 it. And if you do think about it, free chlorine will be always less because that's free.
Okay.
Just because that's the available left. And if you hit read, so 1.5.
Okay. .87.
0.87.
So those readings are in the good range?
Yeah.
Okay.
We should put this one back. See what happened.
0.70.
0.7, yeah. So I don't know if it was just a fingerprint or something.
Sure.
But yeah, it's always free would always be lower
Okay.
than total. So yeah, 0.7, 0.87, those make sense.
Okay.
The 1.51 did not make sense.
Sure.
So
You played it cool though.
I did play it cool for Facebook.
For Facebook. All right. Well, thanks for joining us as we learned a little bit about our water and sewer department. And I really find that to be very fascinating. And you were such a great instructor, David. And I also love the fact that I got to use this, and I might be possibly keeping this torch.